Hello everyone, welcome back to Quick Tech Unboxings, and here you can see we are about to start a new build video series. We're going to be starting on the ZZ87 platform, and we're going to aim this as a kind of budget mid-end kind of build. Obviously not the highest board, not the highest graphics card, not the best hard drives, not the best memory, and not the best power supply. Obviously we've got this case and you're wondering where is the magic box of the CPU. Well, I haven't got that yet because it hasn't arrived. The rest of this case is further over there somewhere. So we're going to start by unboxing this. Let me just rearrange the set and then we can start on that. Obviously the motherboard that you see in front of me is not one of the most high-end motherboards on the Z87 platform, but it still supports most of our basic options. We've got the Z87 chipset inside, it's the LG1150 socket, SLI ready, Crossfire ready, and we've got DTS, Ultra PC and DTS Connect. Here we can see that we've got what we had on my other board. Let me just go and get my other board. Over here. This is a P8 P67. Now, if you look at the size of the box compared to this board is a little bigger than the one that I've just got. Even though this is still an ATX board, I better off static. And the other board also had. I've got the box right here. Also had the dual processors, so they've just redesigned that badge. Obviously looks exactly the same. On here we've got, obviously it's for TPU, EPU energy saving, Digi and VRM, so it's obviously digital power on these boards. We've got Fan Expert 2 for ultimate colour quiet system and true UASP support for USB 3 boost. Let's get that box out of the way. Oh yeah, one other thing that we've got is we have got an M4 SSD, but we're upgrading that soon, so we don't need to worry about that too much. So here's the board. I'm going to take my words back, it is exactly the same size, and in here we have some kind of cables and stuff. We'll get them out after. So if I just get the board out and get it out of the way, just park that at the side, and we'll deal with that in a minute. Obviously we've got IO shield, we'll talk more about that later. We've got a SLI bridge, so now I have two of them. User's guide, complete with a CD and a sticker, and the CD you should always go and download the latest off the website. There's a user guide, and so here we are, we've got what the Asus call these is the Q-Connect. What it is basically you can plug all your connectors into it before plugging this into your motherboard. It goes down there somewhere. And we've got another one here, it's for USB, so you can build your own USB connector. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Here we've got what tells you more about the board, where all the things are on the board. We don't need to know much about that because we are PC builders and we don't need to know. So I'll just get this box out of the way and get these accessories. There isn't much in terms of other accessories. We've got two SATA 6 gigabit per second cables, and that's all in that piece of cardboard, so we'll just get that off. I've got something to go on here, and then we can, I've got something here, it's just full of old PC bits, properly old PC bits. There we go, drop that down and get the board, and let's get started. On the overview, this board is really quite fantastic. Obviously we've got the thing that tells us to remove that. We've got 4 RAM slots supporting up to 32 gigabytes of memory. Let's go down to these, which is what I was quite interested in on the website. They've got 4 ports here and 2 ports built onto here. Now my guess is that these will be running off an external chipset, or all these will be running off the external chipset, but either way, looking on the motherboard, they are all SATA 6 gigabit per second ports, every single one of them, which is a good sign, because everything natively now there is 6 gigabit per second port on the Z87 chipset. We've got something to peel off there. Do that after. Here, let's go from the top actually. So from the top of the board, we've got your 8-pin power for your CPU in its ideal location. We've got 2 CPU fan headers. We've got a CPU optional and a CPU fan, so you can use this for your overhead fan if you want, or your radiator or whatever. We've got a DRAM mem-OK button for if your memory doesn't support very well. We've got some power delivery phases here for the memory, I presume. We've got another fan header there, your standard 24-pin on its ideal location, and your USB 3 header for the front panel. I like to see these right angled on the side, but for a board like this, that's pretty good. Obviously we've got your chipset under here, and then moving down to the business end, really, you can see your TPU chip there. Come on, focus. Never mind, there it is. Boot device LED, which is somewhere in there. Here we've got your chassis fan 2, TPU settings 1 and 2. While we're having that off, there's the EPU switch. Here we've got the space for the Q connect, so that you can just, one of my pins has arrived bent in the box as well, as you can see there. So I might be straightening that out, or actually both of them are bent. I might be taking this back. We'll have to see how that goes. We've got 3 USB front panel headers. Then we've got a TPM, what I've no idea what that is. Then we've got a switch that says direct key, and I'll read more about that in the box, and you'll hear more about that later in the series. Then we've got some other headers, communications port, TB header, no idea what that does. Moving on to the PCI lanes, we've got 3 PCI Express 3.0. This one is wired 16x. These two are both wired 8x. As you can see, you can just see little gold bits stop halfway, and these gold ones go all the way. So these are wired 8x. So if you're running SLI, you'll get 2 in 8x, and then the last one will be in 4x, which is not ideal. And then we've got 2 PCI Express 1s and 2 PCIs. I always like to see these because people still have them and stuff. We've got our CMOS battery, another fan header, and then we are moving up to the back panel. On the back I/O we have 7.1 audio out, gigabit Ethernet, full USB 3.0 ports, a VGA, a DVI port, a HDMI optical audio out, mini display port, a dual PS2 port, and 2 USB 2.0s. So we're pretty much sorted for the I/O that we've got on this board. There's a wide selection of audio out, and obviously if you're using an external graphics card, with this chipset you are allowed to use features such as QuickSync, which is quick video encoding and transcoding off of the CPU instead of using your graphics card to do that, which is a rather cool feature. I'm not sure what the other features are, to be honest. Not really read into it much because it's not something that I've particularly used. So moving on to the top of the board, we've got our CPU socket, pretty much the same design as LG 1155. This little thing right here, this little black thing, pops off when you put the CPU in, so you don't need to worry about taking that off right now. But there we can see the socket, all lovely, every pin's in the right place. I'm glad I want to be replacing this board after all the trouble that I've gone to trying to get one as soon as possible for everyone. And obviously we've got these lovely heat sinks here for the VRM. Now these are a work of art because if I just turn the camera around to this angle, I know on other Asus boards they're shaped like a dragon, and as you can see there, they are shaped quite weirdly, I would say. They kind of like stick up here and just hold on there, and it's the same with this one here. It's exactly the same fashion, so that's quite cool. I'm not just sure about this new gold theme though, to be honest. You know, I like it a little bit, but when you've got it like this, especially when I've got blue fans in my system, I think I'm gonna have to rethink my options and maybe have just white lighting to highlight the gold. You know, it's not everywhere. It's on some lanes and little bits, just highlights. So a bit of white light maybe. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to start inserting this board into the system. Okay, so before I insert the board into the computer, what you'll see here is that I've got a Zalman Z11 case with all the sides missing and the front missing because they are currently residing on the floor because it just makes the case a little easier to work on in terms of like wires down the back, at the front, obviously side, getting CD drives in and stuff. So another thing that I'm using that people haven't used much is thumb screws for the motherboard. Now it's a good idea because it's quick, and obviously there's a lot of tight space in the motherboard where you can just stick these in, and they've obviously got screw heads on as well, so you can screw them in. So I'm going to insert this board once I've just removed this 8-pin. It'll go eventually. If I just bring it up, I'll leave that. I'll get it. I'll sort it. I'll put the motherboard in, and then we'll come back to you. So before I continue installing the board, and I'll just carry on doing that whilst I'm talking, you may notice that this is a slim board. Obviously, I've got my what you call it? Well, I forgot the called motherboard mounting, whatever they're called. There, which supported my old P67 board. And obviously this doesn't quite reach up to it, so we've got a bit of a flimsy bit on the edge of here, which you've got to be careful of when installing stuff like the 24-pin that you supported at the back, and other things maybe like the RAM, because that just hangs off the edge, and maybe SATA ports and stuff like that. I've also got to bend these pins back before. And another thing that people don't remember sometimes is to put in the I/O shield, because although it may restrict cooling, and I know people like to run it with it off, you know, so it's better for your cooling, but make sure you put it on if you are going to put it on. That's one thing that people sometimes forget. And if you've put all the screws in for your motherboard, like I'm just about to do, you might have to go do it all again because you can't put it in from the outside. So if you leave me to this, I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I've now installed the board fully. I've got all the screws in, and I've got 3 left. There's 2 there. 3 left for the ones that I didn't use over that side. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for this episode, guys. Obviously, next episode we'll be covering another feature, maybe the graphics card or something. Obviously, I showed you a 650 Ti box before. We are going to be using a 650 Ti boost, but my wallet needs refilling, so I'm just going to wait for that to happen. And then, obviously, we've got like hard drives here, which we can start installing. I'll just give you a brief overview because obviously I'm going to do a whole episode on hard drives. One sec, guys. There we go, I've got one of them out. This, I'm only using a couple of Seagate 500 gigs. Obviously I said this was going to be aimed at kind of a budget kind of gaming system. I'm not going balls to the walls max, GTX Titans, you know, AX 1200 power supply, you know, Gigabyte G1 sniper board or anything like that, because I don't want to go balls to the walls, and my memory kit was only 40 quid or something. So we'll continue with this next episode. So thanks for watching, guys, my unboxing of this ASUS Z87A and the first video of my build series. Make sure to subscribe so you can check out the rest of the videos. It's going to be a fun build, and the last episode where we're going to be testing out this new hardware and stuff, you know, like benchmarks and stuff, and we're going to have this overclocked at 4.5 gigahertz, possibly. My cooler will go up to that much, although it is the height of summer outside, so it's getting quite warm in here, so we're going to have to be cautious of cooling and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe for more unboxings, reviews and computer videos.